Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Faith Academy responds to the report of a toddler unsupervised at its early learning center. Plaza Victoria restaurant is giving back this Christmas, serving hot meals to the homeless. And the winter expense that's about to get more expensive, why analysts don't see prices dropping.
Well, our first cold front has finally pushed down into the Gulf, and we have another cold front on the way. But what's going to happen in the mix? We'll talk about that coming up in weather.
And the 10-year-old who outsmarted a car thief, his clever move that cracked the case. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. Port O'Connor residents are no longer being asked to conserve water, but they do remain under a boil water notice. According to a release from water officials, a contractor hit a water main Monday night but did not report it. That caused pressure to drop overnight low enough to trigger a boil water notice. They say water levels in the city's tanks are back to normal, so there is no need to restrict water use. Port O'Connor is still under a boil water notice until samples sent to the state that were sent to the state today come back clear. Faith Academy issued a statement today about an incident at Cub Care Early Learning Center. They say Cub Care is independently run by Faith Academy, not by Faith Family Church, even though the center sits on church property. Faith Academy leaders also say some details previously reported are not accurate, but they won't address those until the ongoing investigation wraps up. Faith Academy's board member and spokesperson Matt Mashburn also serves as an operations pastor at Faith Family Church, but stresses his church role has nothing to do with this situation. If you have a news tip, let us know by calling the newsroom at 361-576-0026 or sending an email to staff@crossroadstoday.com. Washington State is dealing with significant river flooding as heavy rains fall there. The rain could cause area waterways to reach record high water levels, with at least 18 locations in western Washington predicted to hit major flood stage. The National Weather Service has warned the flooding could damage roads and farms along the rivers, as well as residential and business communities. Tuesday's flooding forced a number of road closures and water rescues in the area, with more heavy rain predicted throughout the week. And that weather there is actually what is helping to keep us dry here in South Texas. So let's go to meteorologist Jacob Lozano with a first look at your forecast. And how does something all the way across the country affect us here?
Well, we have high pressure over to the Pacific. If we take a look at the map right now, that's what's keeping the jet stream up north, as well as keeping us on the warmer side. We can see that area in orange, indicating it's higher pressure, so it does feel a little bit warmer for us, and it does kind of help keep the rain out a little bit. But it did allow for a weak little frontal system to push in through for today. Well, now, what I mean by weak is we're not going to be seeing very cold temperatures, but 72 is where we're at right now, and the northerly winds had finally picked up out of the north at about 7 miles per hour there. But it is going to be a bit chilly in the morning, but still it's going to be 71 for the high because of the pressure there. So 43 for the start. You'll likely need a jacket there for the morning time, and you'll probably just take that off by the afternoon. Then we'll see that again there for Friday as well as into Saturday. But those next 2 days are actually a little bit different because we'll actually be starting off a bit on the more humid side. Likely see some fog in the morning. We'll talk all about that coming up in the full weather. Shawna?
Well, Texas Seafood in Victoria is spreading holiday cheer, serving meals to the homeless on Christmas Day. It's something the restaurant has done for several years. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley talked with the owner about his need for volunteers to serve this year.
Texas Seafood has been serving food to the homeless for 8 straight years and wants to continue putting a smile on people's faces. Ever since Hurricane Harvey, Texas Seafood owner Ben Pham has been eager to serve food to the homeless on Christmas Day. Pham says he feels excited to serve the homeless and wants to bring cheer this holiday season.
There's a lot of people homeless, and ain't nobody feeling for them during a special day like that. So that's why I just want to keep a little corner of Victoria feel warm, you know.
Just last year, Pham says there were over 30 people who volunteered to feed the homeless and is currently looking for more volunteers. Pham also feels joy when he sees children volunteering to serve and wants to provide love for the homeless.
if somebody would open up an arm like that, give them a hope, a chance thing like, hey, this world got somebody out there think about them on those special days. That's my purpose of it.
Fam wants the community of Victoria to know that he cares for them and wants to bring warmth to the community. Reporting from Texas Seafood in Victoria, Ray Mosley, KAVU-TV, 25 News Now.
To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Well, if you're thinking about buying a home in 2026 or starting the new year with a job search, the Fed's final decision on interest rates in 2025 could impact your household's financial future. Karen Kafa has a breakdown of this afternoon's announcement.
The final call on interest rates in 2025 by the Federal Reserve caps off a turbulent year for the central bank and current chair Jerome Powell and tees up an uncertain new year ahead.
The Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point.
Major inflation and jobs reports delayed by the recent government shutdown aren't due out until later this month. But economists say the Fed has enough private data about the U.S. labor market to see it's slowing. And cutting interest rates is aimed at encouraging businesses to borrow, spend, and hire more. It can get consumer spending, too.
When interest rates come down, that lowers the overnight lending rate that banks use to send money to each other overnight while we're all sleeping. That can lower the broader interest rate that people think about when you think about, the rate you've got on your credit card, the rate you've got on your mortgage.
But loosening the reins on borrowing also risks further heating up prices at a time when inflation remains stubborn. Despite consumers saying they feel the pinch, Americans are spending this holiday season.
People are still spending. It is the holidays. So I think we're seeing credit card debt rise and buy now, pay later behavior is growing. So folks are still spending, but they're putting money in places where their debt is going up.
The Fed facing a growing economy on one hand and a slowing labor market on the other, making the 2026 outlook for interest rates murky. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Get ready for higher heating bills this winter. Natural gas prices are up nearly 50% from this time last year, which means the average home will see about a 3% bump in heating costs. Natural gas is the most common way Americans heat their homes, and it also powers much of the electric grid. Residential electric rates are up more than double the inflation rate. Experts say natural gas prices swing wildly, and this latest spike is tied to supply issues. So it's still unclear how high prices might go, but analysts do not expect them to drop anytime soon. A surveillance video in a New Orleans suburb shows the moments a 10-year-old is seen jumping out of his mom's stolen vehicle in a parking lot. Police in Kenner say 36-year-old Mackenzie Switzer stole the vehicle with the child inside. The boy's quick thinking and courage helped police track down the suspect using his cell phone that he left behind in the car.
Between the cell phone pings and our flock camera system, our officers located the vehicle and the suspect in the 8600 block of Airline Highway at a dealership and actually caught the suspect trying to get into another vehicle.
Switzer faces multiple charges, including simple kidnapping and possession of stolen property. Kenner police say he's accused of similar crimes in Florida and California. The mother says she's grateful her son is safe and praises his bravery in escaping the dangerous situation. Here are some of the top headlines this week in the Cuero record. The Cuero Development Corporation reinvested more than $250,000 into the community the past year. And a resolution to the conflict between the owners of Yorktown Memorial Hospital and city officials is reportedly in sight. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com. And remember, we have a YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Subscribe, hit the like button, and click the notification bell. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. More than 1 million social media accounts go dark with a first-of-its-kind ban taking effect today. Plus, a peek inside Instagram's algorithm for the first time, the tool that shows what the app thinks you like. We turn now to an experiment being watched around the world. Children under 16 being banned from social media. As ABC's Maggie Rulli explains, it is sparking big reactions from parents, teens, and tech companies, and raising some big questions about what could happen next.
It's a first-of-its-kind experiment that the entire world is watching. If you're under 16 and living in Australia, you're now banned from all social media.
I think instead of completely removing us from social media, they should be teaching us how to deal with the consequences.
You're taking away the way that we communicate with our friends, the way that we feel connected to the world.
All this is doing is stopping our voice, stopping our creative outlets.
As of midnight on December 10th, more than 1 million accounts have gone dark, as 10 of the biggest social media platforms are now required to block anyone under the age of 16 in Australia. Any company found not taking, quote, reasonable steps to enforce the ban will be fined up to $33 million. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, pushing back, saying the ban is misguided and could actually make kids less safe by forcing teens onto less regulated platforms or apps that don't offer as many safety features as they do. But Australia's Prime Minister is standing by the new law.
This is the day when Australian families are taking back power from these big tech companies, and they're asserting the right of kids to be kids and for parents to have greater peace of mind.
Tanya Short, a mother of 3 and drama therapist, agrees.
I've definitely seen really increased levels of anxiety, increased levels of children trying to be perfect, and really worrying about what other people think of them, what they look like, what their bodies look like.
But some kids argue this ban will cut them off from their communities.
Social media was the place that I went to when I needed people to talk to who understood me.
Dan Donahue works at an anti-bullying organization and says he wants this ban to just be the first step.
Should we be taking social media and safety with smartphones just as seriously as we do safety on the road or around banned substances?
My answer is yes. Like, I'm interested in the regulations and policies still continuing to improve to say, like, what if that scroll slowed down? What if your access to information couldn't be quite as quick? Like, you know, we have speed limits on our roads. What if you put speed limits on how quickly you could be fed that information?
Exactly how this ban will work is up for debate, but the move is being closely watched around the world. In America, dozens of states already have rules around the use of cell phones in classrooms, and the movement to impose further restrictions is growing. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, London.
Instagram rolled out a new way to see and control what shows up in your Reels feed. It's called Your Algorithm, and it lets you peek at the topics Instagram thinks you care about, then tweak them to better match your interests. When you're watching Reels, look for the little icon in the top right, 2 lines with hearts. Tap it, and you'll see the topics AI has picked for you based on your activity. The feature launched today in the U.S., and Instagram says it'll expand to more parts of the app soon, including the Explore page. Well, congressional leaders came together today to light the Capitol Hill menorah. The lighting comes ahead of the first night of Hanukkah this Sunday. The congressional menorah lighting tradition started in the wake of October 7th attacks on Israel in 2023. Both Democratic and Republican leaders expressed their continued support for Israel and their relief at the return of the hostages held by Hamas. This year, Hanukkah runs from Sunday, December 14th to Monday, the 22nd. Well, staying heart healthy is important year-round, but the American Heart Association says more people die from heart attacks at the end of December than any other time of year, even those with no known heart problems. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains why the holidays can be risky and simple ways to protect your heart.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, but for your heart, it's also the most dangerous as the number of heart attacks spike during the holidays.
Most people don't think about the fact that during the holidays, you can get in trouble even if you don't have any history of heart problems or medical problems at all by doing some of the things that you normally do during holidays.
Cardiologist Dr. Taiwan Tillman with Orlando Health calls it holiday heart syndrome, where there's a sudden onset of stress on the heart or abnormal heart rhythms due to choices that are made during the holidays.
Lots of good food, sometimes a little bit more alcohol than you would normally drink, And those are all things that can place emotional stress and physical stress on your body and ultimately your heart.
To lower risk of holiday heart syndrome, Tillman says that if you plan to drink alcohol, be mindful of how much you're drinking and pace yourself.
You want to make sure that as you're drinking, try and drink a non-alcoholic drink or a glass of water in between alcoholic beverages.
And be aware of what you're eating. Tillman says salty and rich foods in particular can stress the heart, so he says to limit those things. Also, if you're hosting a party, he says offer healthy choices and non-alcoholic drinks.
It's important. You want to enjoy yourself, but you really want to celebrate smart, and you want to be mindful that these things can occur, and a little bit of prevention goes a long way.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Heart Association says it's also important to know and recognize the warning signs of a heart attack, which include pain or discomfort in the chest, lightheadedness, nausea or vomiting, jaw, neck or back pain, discomfort or pain in the arm or shoulder, and shortness of breath. If you experience any of these signs, get immediate medical help. We're shining a spotlight on local homes that are lit up for the holidays, and we'd love to include yours. Each Friday leading up to Christmas, we'll feature a different home that is spreading seasonal cheer. Then beginning December 22nd, we'll showcase one home every day. If your decorations are ready for their close-up, now's the time to share them. And here are some of the top headlines this week in the Port Lavaca Wave. Several candidates filed to run for Calhoun County Judge and Commissioner in precincts 1, 2, and 4, as well as other local races. Plus, Port Lavaca residents are asked for feedback and critiques on the city's upcoming 20-year comprehensive plan. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com.
Well, temperatures today got up to 78 before the front moved in. It's about 10 degrees above normal, but we were about 5 degrees below normal for the low at 41 degrees, and we are lacking in the rain category. But I think we got a couple rain chances in our forecast we can talk about. We'll talk about that coming up. Well, with the passing of our frontal system, temperatures tomorrow are still going to be in the 70s for the high, and we're actually going to be tracking up in temperature here, getting to 80 degrees before we have a second frontal system moving in here for Sunday. We could see temperatures drop down into the 60s there for us. So northerly winds are picking up as that the frontal system has pushed down south. We got high pressure that's helping steer the northeasterly winds here for us. This high pressure is actually going to be tracking down towards the southeast. Because of that, it's actually going to bring back our southeasterly flow, onshore flow, which will increase our humidity values as well as our dew point values. So moisture will come back into play here, especially for Friday morning, where fog is going to be a bit of an issue there. So 11 p.m. we start to see a little bit of fog being picked up down south around the 37 corridor there, and by midnight start to see it pick up once again. But it really gets stronger here by 6 a.m., a little bit more dense. We see half a mile of visibility. So around 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Friday morning, likely going to have some dense fog, about a half a mile, even maybe a quarter of a mile thick within that. But get around 10 to 11 a.m. for Friday morning, and the fog does begin to diminish. But we're likely going to be seeing that once again here for Saturday. But the thing with Saturday is a little bit more moisture is going to help bring up some more shower activity, especially we see a little bit of weakening in the high pressure there. So along the coastal bend is likely where we're going to see more shower activity begin to pick up here for Saturday afternoon. More on the light to moderate side of things for that day, but it does diminish there once the sun starts to set down and the cooling takes place. But with the limited moisture in the atmosphere, we do see the frontal boundary pick up there on a future tracker where we could see moderate showers there north of the I-10 corridor there by 4 a.m. on Sunday. And then here it is, 7 a.m. Sunday. We start to see moderate showers begin to pick up around DeWitt County, south of I-10 there. And it's looking like for us, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is when that frontal system will start to make it into Victoria, where we could see some shower activity begin to pick up there for us. Still relatively on the moderate to light side before it really pushes down along the Texas border and the coastline out of the crossroads by 11 a.m. Sunday. And they're likely going to be seeing some more shower activity. But the cloud cover is still going to be sticking around there for us over the next couple of days once that frontal system does pass over us there. Now, temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be in the 40s and 50s, so you're likely going to need that jacket, and then you're probably going to end up taking the jacket, zipping down from that, because it's going to get a bit warm there for us in the 61 Saturday and Sunday, and then the frontal system pushes down. Then we got our temperatures there for 47 there with the passing of the front for the morning lows. Now, as for your daily planner, clear skies. I think it's going to be a great day tomorrow. North winds will shift out of the southeast, 71 degrees for the high. It'll be quite nice there, as well as Cuero. It'll be a bit of a chilly start, and then we'll get up to the 70s. Winds will also be shifting, but it's going to be a sunny day throughout the county with the passing of this frontal system, and especially as winds begin to shift there out of the southeast. So next 7 days, temperatures slowly drop, but then they begin to increase here, start to get more moisture, more fog in the morning, higher temperatures. The front moves in here Sunday. We got a 20% for Saturday and Sunday, and then temperatures start to slowly increase, but we look to Wednesday, see a bit of a dip in the jet stream there, where we could see a decent chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms there. We'll talk more about that specifically on the 10 o'clock show. But enjoy the colder weather, because it's going to be quite nice for these next couple of days. Then we got that other frontal system. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And here's Shawna.
Still to come, Pepsi, Lay's, and Doritos get a makeover. How a $4 billion deal will affect your grocery bill. The Dow gained 497 points, or more than 1% today. The S&P 500 gained a little more than 2/3%, and closed just shy of a record high. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite gained 0.33%. The price of oil rose 69 cents to $58.94 per barrel. Wall Street is feeling pretty upbeat heading into 2026. The Federal Reserve just cut interest rates by a 1/4 point, the third cut this year, and investors were already optimistic before the announcement. Several major banks are predicting solid gains next year. Bank of America expects nearly 4%. Barclays and JP Morgan see around 8 to 10%, and others think the market could climb even higher. Despite a bumpy year with a government shutdown and tech swings, the S&P 500 is still up 17% so far and nearly 80% since 2022. PepsiCo says it is working to cut costs and lower prices for shoppers. Part of that plan includes reducing the number of individual products it offers by about 20%. The move comes after PepsiCo struck a deal with activist investor Elliott Investment Management, which took a $4 billion stake in the company back in September. With the new partnership, PepsiCo says it's expecting organic revenue to grow up to 4% next year. And of course, we're talking about big name brands like Pepsi, Lay's, and Doritos. Well, if it feels like your paycheck is not stretching as far as it used to, there is new data out today to back you up. According to the latest employment cost index, workers' wages and benefits hit a 4-year low last quarter. Compensation gains slowed year over year, dropping to a level not seen since 2021. Higher prices for goods and services aren't helping either. With inflation factored in, wages and benefits are up just 0.5% annually. Last year at this time, inflation-adjusted compensation was growing at nearly 3 times that pace. Well, online shoppers beware. A new report says Instacart used AI to charge different prices for the same items, with some customers paying up to 20% more. Consumer Reports and Groundwork Collaborative says the system tries to gauge how price sensitive you are, which is different from typical supply and demand pricing. The report finds some Instacart users could spend around $1,200 more a year than others. That is based on feedback from more than 400 shoppers comparing Instacart prices to in-store prices. From the campaign trail to the running track. Coming up next, we will meet the 14-year-old who is wanting to lead his state.
Dangerous, fast-moving storm sweeping into the Northeast. Plus, the prices you're paying for everything and the key decision on interest rates, how it will affect you, and our great Made in America Christmas. Your new ideas pouring in. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
Well, a 14-year-old in Vermont is making a run for governor and could make history. Dean Roy realized that Vermont has no age requirement for the office, so he started his campaign earlier this year. He even created his own party, Liberty and Union, in order to get on the ballot. Says he's close to collecting the 500 signatures he needs. Roy balances campaigning with typical high school life like cross country and says housing is his top priority. If he does not win, he plans to try again when he's a little bit older, and he could end up beating the current record for the youngest governor, which right now is set at age 24. So pretty interesting that there's not a minimum age
I didn't know that.
run for governor in Vermont.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. He'll have a very busy high school years if he wins.
I cannot imagine doing homework and then having to control the government over there. So
at least it's a smaller state than Texas, right?
Yes. Well, temperatures though gonna be quite nice here for tomorrow. 71 degrees. Easterly winds will pick up at about 5 miles per hour. Then we got some fog here for Friday and Saturday morning, and then we have our frontal system moving in for Sunday, and that'll help bring our temperatures down to the 60s. So The next 3 days, I'll say you'll probably need to bring a little sweatshirt in the morning, a little something sweater, and then you'll probably just take that off there by the afternoon because I think 70 is a bit warm for me. And then we look to Wednesday, and that's looking like it's going to be one of our better chances for some rain as we start to see a bit of a break in that high pressure there. Hopefully will help us out, stay above average for this year.
Yeah, temperatures are definitely on a roller coaster there. We're seeing some of the lows and some of the highs right around the same temperatures.
Definitely a roller coaster.
So, all right, well, just keep an extra sweater handy just in case, and you can layer up or unlayer if you need to, right? All right, well, thanks for joining us. Our next newscast is in 30 minutes. We'll see you at 6 for 25 News Now.